we want to find the inverse hyperbolic cosine. Now, suppose for example, you have cosh of 1.5, the cosh inverse of 1.5. Now, you're supposed to find that. You don't know what it is. So let's say it is equal to x. Now, if you remember, this is somewhat similar to saying the cosine inverse in degrees. The cosine inverse of 60 is equal to a half. All right? Or no, not the cosine inverse of 60. If you say that the cosine of 60 is half, right, you might be asked, what is the cosine inverse of a half? Right? The cosine inverse of a half means you have a certain angle and you don't know what it is. Cos of theta is a half. So how do you get theta? You must find the cosine inverse of a half to get the angle theta. Alright? So you're told that the cos of an angle is a half. How do you find the angle? You find the cos inverse of a half to get the angle. You remember that? Now back up here now. The cosh inverse of 1.5 is x. In this case, x is the angle. Alright? Now, what you can say is that the cosh inverse of x, the cosh of x will give you this. The cosh of x will give you 1.5. What? 1.5. Why I put 1 over 5? Alright, let me correct that. 1.5. So, in cos, you're told that the cosine of an angle is half. What is the angle? Cos inverse of the answer half will give you the angle. Right? So, the cosh of an angle is 1.5. I mean, the cosh inverse of 1.5 will give you that angle. So, a question might say, find angle x if cosh x is equal to 1.5. Alright? What you're going to have to say then is that since cosh x is equal to 1.5, then the cosh inverse of 1.5 will give you x. Alright? Now, you could just punch in the numbers on a calculator, but the question might specify that you explain it using the exponent form. That means with the e to the x and so on and so forth. Alright? Now, the thing is, you might remember, or if they're so kind to you to give you a formula sheet with it, you will remember that the cosh of x is equal to e to the x plus e to the negative x divided by 2. Alright? So, here, we're told that the cosh of x is 1.5. This is the cosh of x. So we're going to equate this to 1.5 and say e to the x plus e to the negative x divided by 2 is equal to 1.5. Alright, so that's what we have. Now we have e to the x plus e to the negative x. If we multiply both sides by 2, we get this equal to 3. Alright? Now e to the x. This e to the negative x is the same as 1 over e to the positive x, right? Equal 3. So, if we multiply both sides now by e to the x, we get e to the x times e to the x plus, this will be 1 over e to the x times e to the x, right? And they cancel. So, it's plus 1. And this is equal to 3 times e to the x. What we have is e to the x squared. We could just subtract the 3e to the x from now. Minus 3 e to the x plus 1 equals 0. Because I recognize it is a quadratic equation. Right? Or you want to write it in the form of the variable square plus something, some number times the variable plus another number equal 1. So, let's make e to the x a single letter. So, let e to the x be equal to any letter, A, B, C, D. Let's say D. Alright? So what you have is d squared minus 3d plus 1 equals 0. And then could use the formula. Could this be factorized? No. You wouldn't be able to factorize this. You'd have to use the formula or completing the square. Alright? Let's use completing the square. Just for practice. Remember, with completing the square, x plus h squared, when you multiply it out, you get x squared plus 2hx plus h squared, right? So here, you have d squared plus negative 3d plus, now you have 1x squared, so you have 1d squared, alright. Or yeah, this is generally the way you represent it, the way you represent this thing when you're completing the square, x plus h squared. But guess what, since it's d we're dealing with, let's use d. So d plus h squared is d squared plus 2hd plus h squared. Alright, so you have 1d squared, no problem there. 2 times h times d. So here, negative 3 times d. So 2h is the same as negative 3. Alright? You have negative 3d here. I have 2hd here. And then plus h squared. So we need to find h and square it. What is h? H would be negative 3 over 2 and then a squared. Alright. So it's negative 3 over 2 all squared. So let's put back this one now out here. Plus 1 equals 0. But the thing is, you just added negative 3 over 2 squared, which was not there before. So you must take it back off. So minus, it doesn't mean that we're going to erase it, you know. Alright? It's there to help us, so we can't just erase it. What we do, the way we take it off is to say minus negative 3 over 2 squared out here. So this part is like this. So we can write it like this, right? So you see this part now. D plus 8 squared. This can be written as D plus, what was H again? H was negative 3 over 2. D plus negative 3 over 2 R squared. You see? This, you know, is this. Alright. Plus, and then we deal with this part. 1 minus negative 3 over 2 squared. That 3 3 is 9 over 2 2 is 4 equals 0. Alright? So what do we have? D minus 3 over 2 R squared plus, we'll work this out as fraction. By the way, 9 over 4. We could just do it on the calculator to save a little time. 1 minus 9 over 4. So 9 divided by 4 is 2.25. And 1 minus that is negative 1.25. Alright? It's negative 1.25 that you're going to get. Minus 1.25 equals 0. So D minus 3 over 2 R squared equals 1.25 when you add 1.25 to both sides, right? So, what happened here now? Well, as I say, we're doing it by completing the square, but if you remember the formula for the quadratic, if you remember the quadratic formula, or if you're given a formula sheet with it, you wouldn't have to worry about completing the square. But anyway, it's good practice to know how to complete the square. Square root both sides of this thing. So the square root of D minus 3 over 2 R squared. Remember, it's positive and negative square root, you know. So remember, when you square root a number, it's two square roots you're going to get. One is positive and one is negative. And this is equal to positive and negative is square root of 1.25. By the way, 1.25, if we did it by fraction, is 1 1/4, right? 4 1 5, it would be 5 over 4. Alright. It would have been the square root of 5 over 4. Let's play around with it like that now and see what happens. It's the same as positive and negative, the square root of 5 over 4. Alright? It just look nice and neat when you deal with fraction. But anyway, when you square root something and square it back, the square and square root cancel each other and leave the number undisturbed. So the D minus 3 over 2 will remain there untouched. Equal, so this will be plus or minus square root of 5 over 4. So D then, what is D? D is equal to positive and negative square root of 5 over 4 plus 3 over 2. Alright, so we can use our calculator now to deal with it, but we can't scroll down anymore. We run out of scrolling space. So let's draw a line somewhere here and continue working on the right. So oh my, this way. But anyway, what do we have? D equal positive and negative square root of 5 over 4. So D equal positive and negative square root of 5 over 4 plus what again? 3 over 2 plus 3 over 2. Alright, so D is equal to, let's use a calculator and see how this will go. Alright, this is square root of open bracket 5 divided by 4 close bracket equal. Alright? This positive square root plus 3 over 2. So we say this plus 3 divided by 2. I'm just using brackets to make sure everything is alright. 2.618. And then if we had a negative 5 over 4, negative square root of 5 over 4, we get that plus 3 over 2 plus 3 over 2 equal 0.382. So we have 2.618, 0.382, 2.618, 0.382. So those are two possible values that we have of D. Let's look at it again. What was it? Was it all right, 0.382. Right. So that's D. What happened over here now? We said that e to the x is D. So e to the x is equal to 2.618, and also e to the x is equal to 0.382. Now here, if we ln both sides, ln e to the x is equal to ln 2.618. Let's deal with this one first and then we go over to the other. So based on the laws of logarithm, the log of a number to a power is the power times the log of the number, so it's x ln e equal ln 2.618. But ln e is 1, so x is ln 2.618. Alright? Let's look at this one too. E to the x is 0.382. ln e to the x is ln 0.382. So x ln e is ln 0.382. But we know that ln e is 1. So can just say x is that. Alright, so let's look at what's going to happen when we use our calculator now. Where did I get so many calculators? Alright, so ln, the natural logarithm of 2.618 equals 0.962. So x is equal to 0.962. Over here, what would x be? Let us see. So what we have is ln 0.382. ln 0.382 equals, this will be a negative 0.962. Negative 0.962. Now let's see what we have here and see what would go on. The hyperbolic cosine of x is 1.5. Alright? I mean, the cosine, what are we talking about? The cosh, the hyperbolic cosine of x, right, is 1.5. What is x? Now, here, we have to test it and eliminate any one that doesn't work. What is cosh of 0.962? And also what is cosh of negative 0.962? Let me put this in bracket because it has a negative sign there in front of it. Now, what we're supposed to get again? 1.5. So, now for it, we're going to use a calculator and test this thing out and see what's going to happen. Cosh 0.962 equal, we get 1.5 here, no problem. Now let's see what's going to happen over here. Cosh of negative 0.962 equal, we get the same thing. So cosh on one side, cosh on the other side. So here, both of them say 1.5. So we have two values for x. So x, as a summary, you can say x is equal to positive and negative 0.962.